Hi there, and welcome back to State of Flux, where I review Demon Slayer Mugen Train. I saw this movie out of curiosity because of how well it's performing here in the United States as well as overseas. And I'll get into the history of this in a little bit. But I'm going to be upfront right off the bat. I know nothing about Demon Slayer until yesterday. I had never seen Demon Slayer of any kind. Luckily, the Demon Slayer is on Netflix, the complete first season of the show. So what I did to just give myself a sampling of what this movie really is like, and fully cater to the backstory. This movie is a sequel to the show. I watched the pilot episode, the middlemost episode, so episode 13. I watched episode 19 because that was the highest rated on IMDb with a whopping 9.8 out of 10. And then I watched the final episode. So I've only seen 4 episodes out of the 26 episode run, just to kind of get familiar with the characters and base concept. And from what I saw, the show is really, really good. Like, super good. So I was actually pretty excited for the movie. Moving on to the movie itself, the movie follows, for those not in the know with Demon Slayer, follows this young man who is a demon slayer. He has a special sword that gives him mystical powers, and he has like a couple of partners. The first season ends with him accepting another mission, and that mission is to board the Mugen train. This movie picks up like the second that show ended, with the characters hopping onto the train, which was the last scene of the first season, and then it kicks off. What I appreciated was that the film did have like scope that even the show does not. So it does feel grander than just like the way the show is kind of structured is like there's like mini arcs within the whole season, and so you could really string any 4 or 5 episodes together to make a movie. From my experience with the 4 episodes I did watch, it seemed very much that's how the show is framed. I was kind of concerned that was going to happen with this film. It did not. It did to some extent, but not really. It did have a scope and a weight to it in terms of its visual aesthetic. This movie is simply gorgeous. This is easily, if not possibly, the best-looking anime I've ever watched. It is so gorgeous. Even as gory and weird as it gets, it's just stunning and breathtaking to look at. But not only in terms of its visual appeal is this movie worthy of being a feature film, it is also in the weight of emotional depth that the film really weaves in. The demon in question here is a demon, like a dream demon, and the dream demon forces the characters to sleep, and in their dreams gives them what the life they most desire. So it harkens back to the pilot episode. It harkens back to multiple moments that I viewed in my 4 episodes of watching. So I really appreciated that. There's strong character work. They introduce who I would imagine is a new character, this fire sword guy, and he was pretty cool. The movie is fantastic for, I'd say, about 3/4 of its runtime, and then the last fourth of the runtime, like there's a logical point where the film should stop, and it's when the train stops, and that's all I'll say about that. That's the logical end point of the film, and if they had ended it there, I would have been like, this movie is like just fantastic. It's a great continuation of a show, and for people who are not familiar, you could just watch this and be invested in these characters and want to go back and watch the show and want to see what comes next. But then the film goes for an additional like 25 minutes or so, and what you get isn't bad. It's just kind of out of nowhere. They really deep dive into one character that you're not as invested in, and it kind of crumbled for me in those last 25 minutes. That said, this is still a strong movie. If you're a fan of the show, I think you're going to love it. Like, this is an easy 3.5 or 4-star movie for you. If you've never watched the show, I think because of that ending, it gets a little wonky and overstays its welcome. So I'd say it's like a 2.5 or 3-star movie. I would give it a very, very firm 3 stars. That said, the reason I was interested in watching this film is how it has really taken the box office by storm. This movie was released in Japan in October. By November, it was the 3rd highest grossing movie of all time in Japan. This is during a pandemic. By the end of December, it became the #1 highest grossing movie of all time in Japan, beating Spirited Away, Titanic, Frozen, Avatar, Avengers. Blew them all out of the water. This is the highest grossing movie by leaps and bounds in that country. And if you look at the worldwide box office, it is likely within the next week or two here, if it still continues to perform well in the United States, this movie could become the highest grossing movie for worldwide box office of feature films released in 2020. Again, during a pandemic, that is monumental. In the United States, this movie, which is a foreign film subtitled, you have a dubbing option, but it was released theatrically, subtitled, opened in 2nd place, just a mere $1 million behind Mortal Kombat, which opened in #1. It is speculated that if Mortal Kombat has a sharp drop-off and this one doesn't, as it didn't in other territories where it opened, this movie is likely to become the #1 movie for this weekend box office. That is kind of huge for a foreign film to do that. As it stands, in the United States alone, it opened in that 2nd place opening. It made so much money that it's the highest grossing opening ever for a foreign film, and the 2nd highest grossing opening ever for a anime film, behind only Pokemon the first movie, which is not considered a foreign film because of reasons. If you want more information on that, there's an excellent channel called Charting with Dan, Dan Merrill's YouTube channel. Watch that, it's fantastic. See it every Monday. But anyway, this movie had me interested since I first heard about it in November. I decided to check it out. Wasn't disappointed. 3 stars. If you're a fan of Demon Slayer, check it out. I urge you to watch the Netflix show. It is fantastic. And then come on to the theater and watch Demon Slayer. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and yeah, how familiar are you with Demon Slayer? Anyway, enjoy.